Hello, hello, welcome to 1000 Lies, part something or other, and there's nobody around. So, with my hands stuffed in my pockets and my eyes darting around, I casually lean on the door of the teacher's lounge. After I confirm that no one else is around, I quietly turn the doorknob. Oh, it's locked. Unexpectedly, the door to the lounge is locked. On the bright side, it also means that nobody is inside, which only makes things easier in the end. Let's see what we have here. I shake the knob a little and decide on the best course of action. I open my wallet and take out my ID. I swiftly push it through the cracked door. The door crack, which easily unlocks the door. Once I'm inside, I look in one of the cabinet drawers like Luce had instructed me, and I find a set of keys. I grab them and get out of the lounge. Enthusiastic voice. Wow, that was fast. You know, that voice is just me going. Anyway, wow, that was fast. I was scared there for a second when the door was locked. How did you manage to get it open? Ah, it was easier. As long as you have a credit card or plastic ID on hand. You'd be surprised by the number of doors you can open that way, especially if they're old. And I always carry a lockpick with me in case that doesn't work, or I always could have used a bump key. And the art of lockpicking is so very beautiful. That explains how you got into my house. Who knows where you learned that? I've already told you that the door was already open. I didn't pick the lock. Of course, Smuck. Of course. I wanted any position to talk after what you asked me to do. How did you know that the keys were in there? And what do you plan to do with them? To serve justice. I see. You know, I completely forget what happened last time. That I'm going to need some context sooner or later. Luce leads me outside. She brings me out near the entrance and into the parking lot. It's empty aside from a couple of parked cars. Wait, is this me proving my worth to her? I'll probably explain it soon. Look, I used to park my bike right here at the bike racks. At the beginning of the school year, one of the teachers decided to purchase a new car. Not a regular car, but a big one, really big. It turns out the parking space was in front of the bike racks, making it harder to get the bikes in and out. Let's not talk how this teacher didn't give a damn, and every time he parked, he'd always hit the bike rack one way or another. So I've been forced to give my wheels and start walking instead. But I don't want to end the year by letting him get away with it. I presume diplomacy hasn't worked very well. Why don't you chain your bike up somewhere else? Where? This place is busy during the mornings, and you never know where you'll be able to park. Plus, I've already made up my mind. Here or nowhere. She pressed one of the buttons on the keys, and the headlights on the large vehicle blink on. I almost mistook it for a monster truck, making Luce's complaint more understandable. What are you going to do with it now? You don't need the key to scratch the body of it. Sit down. I want to show you something. Luce invites me to sit shotgun. What's she planning, I wonder? I'll be the first to admit that I love pranks, but I can't imagine this girl being that kind of person. I'm pretty curious about it, so I decide to go along with it, whatever she wants to do. I take my seat as she goes around the other way and sits in the driver's seat. Can you tell me what we're gonna do with this car now? You haven't figured it out yet? We're stealing it! Huh? Ah! In time it took me to blink, we sped out of the school parking lot and onto the street. I've always considered myself a prankster, but this is too much. I mean, we're stealing our damn car. What are you doing? I told you, I want to test whether or not I can trust you. There's only one way to do it properly. You can't trust someone unless you don't consider a close friend. And I don't believe that two people can be friends until they share a secret. What do you think? Will you be my accomplice? There's no better secret than this. You could have told me before starting the car. I want to see how much it takes before you asked. In the end, it's true that you always fulfill your promises. Or you're just stupid. Okay, whatever you say, but slow down, we're going the wrong way in the roundabout. I'm trying to, but it's hard. I know which one is the gas pedal, but I can't distinguish between the normal and the super brake. What the hell is the super brake? No, really, what is it? I don't know. There are 3 pedals, the gas pedal, the brake, and another, which could only mean super brake. Oh, is it a manual? Never mind. The clutch, that's a clutch. Dutch? What would they be here? Clutch! You don't know what it is? How did you manage to start the car in the first place? Woman's intuition, or something like that. I don't know. This makes such a sharp turn that into the street we're busy. Everyone in our paths would have been slaughtered. After skidding, the car flies into the air and with the finesse of a rat, likely also breaking the suspension and land in an empty, vacant lot. Oh, the beautiful sky. The truth is that we aren't really going to steal it, more like borrow it. I don't have a license, so I don't need the car for anything myself. You don't say. I never would have imagined after seeing how well you drive on 2 wheels. Don't be like that, we're only serving justice. I don't have it yet, but in a couple of months, I'll be 18 and I plan on getting it then. Have you ever heard about future investments? Same thing here. Yeah, not really worth it. You're too late. You're already involved. It rained yesterday, right? That's why the vacant lot is smutty. The plan is to circle around a couple of times and leave the car covered in it. I can think of 1,000 easier ways to dirty a car if that's what justice intended. None of those are fun. I'm close to making the interior of this car as dirty as the outside purely from motion sickness. The driver obnoxious laughter isn't helping me at all. A few minutes later, although it felt like more like months of torture later, and Luce is bored of circling. The car is now completely unrecognizable dirty state. At least now, it seems more like Luce has gotten the hang of driving, but it is a pity that our luck runs out as soon as we return to the main street. Hey, Luce says with a completely casual tone. Yeah? What's that behind us? I take a look and answer her in a relaxed tone. The cops. Silence consumed the car. Luce tries to brake it, but is completely unsuccessful. What's he doing with his hand? Signaling for you to stop. I see. I think now is a good time for us to switch seats. Stop the car. With the normal or super brake? Some people say looks can kill, but not mine. My facial expression is more like an ode to the apocalypse. My gaze focuses on the rearview mirror as my stomach enacts a coup d'etat. Out of the police vehicle emerges a figure. Whatever happened to the fat police officers with greasy donut-laden hands? It's not like I have anything against 6'6" tall. How do you read that again? I don't know. I'm not American. I'm Australian. 6 meters and 6 inches tall bodies that are large as bodybuilders. But it's not good for my mental health or heart to face the final boss during the first level. For a second, I'm unsure if he wants to lean in through the window or rip the sunroof off with his bare hands. Are you aware of having a car this dirty makes it impossible to see your blinkers and license plates? Hey, where's the driver? Between how poorly I act under pressure and while having to improvise and my stomach reenacting the French Revolution, I miss an important detail. Luce is gone. I think I can hear the car starting to break down under the fingers of the mean-looking officer. I may have been joking about the sunroof before, but it's all starting to become more plausible. I can hear the guillotines going off in Place de la Concorde, when to my ear comes a soft whisper. Repeat what I say if you want to get out of this alive. Huh? I guess that sound is coming from behind me. From that, it's safe to assume Luce is lying down in the space between the front and back seats, of which a car as big as this, there should be enough space for her. Don't play dumb with me. Where's the driver? I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Hey, I'm going to die. I've watched more than enough Japanese cartoons to know that the aura given off by this officer is no good. It's probably because he's bold that I can't tell what his power level is, but it's likely quite high. I left the seat free on purpose because I've been looking for you, alright? Not all night. Probably, she's trying to get me to pick up the cop. Probably only because I don't have the better idea. But without thinking it, I start repeating Lucy's word. Hey, I left the seat free on purpose. I've been looking for you all night. The officer raises an eyebrow. Do you know why the car is like this? I went to the countryside to look at the stars all night. The car ended up like this because I went to the countryside to look at all the stars all night. And now look, it's bright as day. I can't believe I'm doing this. The revolution may have ended, but now I have Napoleon Bonaparte expanding his territory beyond my abdomen, and I can't hold him back much longer. I've put so much effort, and I've put so much effort in, but finally... Found Uranus! Found Uranus?! No, I meant, my mind is so blank that I notice the small vibrations coming from behind my seat. Lucy can barely contain her laughter. My vision clouds. The bulky guy looking in through the car window seems to grow taller than before, and my eyes turn blood red. I, who has always lived free of any sins, lies. So this is the conspiracy that the corrupt government and law enforcement came up with to get rid of me for good. Still lying. I always knew they considered me a threat, guys. But for it to come to this, I'd rather spend the day at home, playing video games. Lies, no way, this one is true. I hope humanity remembers me as a hero for what I've dedicated my entire life and effort into. The protection of the Vietnamese Saola and its rights. He doesn't even know what that means. Although there may still be a way, a really cliche solution, the oldest trick in the book. It's not like it can get any worse, right? Joking, I'm joking. This is a hidden camera prank. See, the cameras are there, there, and there. I raise my hand up to the nearest sun visor and flip it up and down as if I'm trying to indicate that there is a camera hidden behind it. Of course, there's nothing actually there, but thanks to my experience as a magician, it's actually pretty easy for me to make others believe otherwise. It's all about how well you act and lie. It's all in the wrist. The beast frowns suspiciously and also seems to calm down a bit. It's going on air once one of the popular comedy websites. It looks like there's no driver, but I can drive it from here. Cool, right? Please like, share, and subscribe. Please do. So I can live off the views until the YouTube cash cow die down. And I have to go back to living in my mother's basement. Thank you very much. Here's my driver's license, you see. I take out my wallet and try to control my sudden Parkinson's fit, and bend over the driver's seat and hand over my driver's license for the officer to examine. It may just be an adrenaline thing, but to me, looks like he's going to burn my license under the pressure over his fingertips. He sighs, something I personally envy, considering that I don't have any oxygen left in my lungs until he gives me back my eye. Alright, but don't do anything like this again, okay? The police officer nods his head and leaves. I bid him farewell, in shock. When he's far enough away, I let out the biggest sigh I've ever heard in my entire life. Everything okay in the end? Who would have thought? Luce reappears from the back and takes my driver's license out of the lifeless hands. I don't say anything, and when I come back to my senses, I cover my face and try to compute everything that just transpired. Although my reaction isn't what anyone would expect. I can't believe that guy fell for that image alone, my god. Luce and I start laughing our asses off together. It had been a pretty dangerous situation, but we couldn't stop laughing. I thought you were angry for a second, you know. Oh, I am, don't be mistaken. But being able to get out of that was such a bad lie. It's so ridiculous. What I don't understand is why you're laughing. What's wrong with you? Do you realize that you've just stolen a car or what? Well, there's a small detail I might have left out. That story I told you about the teacher is real, but the teacher is actually my father. You're stealing your dad's car. me crazy. We have a special relationship. We pull pranks on each other all the time. I might have outdone myself this time, but he'll probably find it hilarious. A little weird, eh? Some things are easy to say, but the most simple ones can be the most difficult. She lowers her voice for a second, and in reaction, I turn around and look at her. She avoids my gaze and returns to her previous demeanor. To tell you the truth, I wanted to do something unexpected to see how far you'd go. Ziva actually told me about you before, you know. The weird guy that writes in his notebook and always gets into trouble. I see she wasn't lying about the latter, at least. Looks like we have something in common. What do you think? This is what I meant by justice. You break into other people's houses and stalk them. I steal cars. You don't have any more reason to be wishy-washy around me like before now, right? New smiles. She's a lot more relaxed now that, according to her, we're on the same level. The philosophy of committing a crime to understand criminals better seems stupid to me. Foolish even. But she seems convinced. What I didn't plan was you having the driver's license. Moose waves a piece of plastic between her fingers, looking at it while trying to change the subject. Oh my, it seems that your birthday is next week. Happy early birthday. Stop snooping and give it back to me before you lose it in you. What? I don't understand why it says that you're 19 years old. Aren't you in the same class as Ziva? Snoop. I repeated a grade a while ago. Nothing special. Wow, are you serious? You must be some kind of stupid after all. Appreciate that deep analysis, but shouldn't we bring the car back already? Your father must have realized that it's missing by now, especially considering how large and hard it is to miss. Don't worry. At this hour, he's probably fooling around somewhere. He's a good man, but still irresponsible. Is that something you know for sure, or is it another gut feeling? A bit of both. Mental note, this girl is dangerous. Oh well, at least the Battle of Waterloo is over. Whatever do you mean? Alright. Well, that was a scene. Have we now proven ourselves to her? I would assume so. But that's innocence, since I'm now being behind the wheel. We managed to safely return to the vehicle, to its parking lot. I carefully placed the key back in its drawer I'd originally found them in, imagining the face of that unfortunate man paying the price for his daughter's justice. When I get back to school gates and meet up with Lucy again, she's facing away from me, distracted by something. Ah, that was really fast. It's not like I went that far away. It's never far enough when it comes to you, Joanne. Don't give me nicknames whenever you feel like it. I told you that my name is Ciaran. Now what? We're even now, right? You wanted proof that you can trust me, and now you even have something you can blackmail me with. So don't keep complaining. Really, to be honest, I'm not really convinced yet. I'm still going to need something more to trust you. You know, that's your problem now. I've already done my part. But that's not true, Johan. It wasn't Johan, it was John. And my name is Ciaran, C-R-N. John was a pseudonym that I came up with to escape. Here's a definition of pseudonym, even though you can probably guess what it is. But I clearly said you had to fulfill some requirements. Requirements? That's plural, don't you see? This was only the first requirement. The second is for you to show me that secret place you mentioned earlier. The third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. We'll see. If a genie gave you 3 wishes, normally you'd want to ask for more. Am I right? I raise a finger questioningly, trying to figure out how to react to such nonsense, but she's right. For some reason, I was thinking that her intentions were pure, and then I ended up getting myself into this mess. Cat got your tongue. If you have nothing left to say, then let's get going already. Normally in these types of situations, I'd react by sending her straight to hell, and angrily punching the closest wall I could find, or vice versa. I was really stupid of me to do all this. But as I've already said, I always fulfill my promises and bets. I'm not going to go back on my word now. I can't live with a clear conscience if I know that I have an unfulfilled promise left. Doesn't matter if that promise is totally unfair, and if deceived me with its tricky wording, meaning to take advantage of me. Okay, you did say requirements, so let's settle on a limit right now. Alright, a limit. Considering I've already spent 2, it would be unfair to leave it like that, even though I didn't know there was a limit. How about a limit of 5 total? 3 more requirements. Are you crazy? You mentioned a genie a bit ago. Oh. That was the wrong voice. You mentioned a genie a bit ago. Then 3. That's plenty of favours. How about we meet in the middle and say 4? Ah! Okay, 4. Who cares? Great. Because I would have accepted 2 or 3 too. In fact, I'm surprised that we even negotiated it. Any sane person would assume that I was joking. I wasn't being serious at first. I just wanted to tease you with the requirement thing. But if you're so generously offering it, then I won't refuse. I suddenly realised how much of a fool I've been being over this odd girl. That really threw me, that one. I fell for all of her tricks. A free fall without a parachute, an uncleared destiny. I lose my composure and my usual smug behaviour is torn away from me. I've been defeated by my equal. Our conversation doesn't make any sense. The stuff about the requirements doesn't make any sense. When my patience ends, I don't get angry, but instead, vulnerable. I'm not the kind of person who gets caught up in my anger, but I'm mostly cool-headed in every situation. I can't read a sentence if I get the first word wrong and I try to correct the second one. I'm not the kind of person who gets caught up in my anger. I'm mostly cool-headed in every situation, but when there's a crisis, my will bleeds and I end up agreeing to anything that will come my way until I eventually find the best moment to escape all of it. Now would be a good moment to make a run for it. Nevertheless, it's true that I'm a man of my word, not a liar, for better or for worse. I have to keep going until I fulfill that which I am responsible for. I've already told you that I fulfill all my promises, even if it was a trap. I still honour it, and, well, whatever happens, happens. Ugh. In the end, maybe you're sincere after all. I thought you were different. Not that this is bad either. Loose flashes a cunning smile, a mixture of dark and pernicious joy that I somehow find appealing. Well then, gentle sir, you still have a special place to show me. How about we hit the road now? On the outskirts of town, beyond the park, near the abandoned neighbourhood, there is a small unfinished library. It isn't actually only a library, but also a cultural centre with special rooms to practice painting, music, and ceramics, among other things. They never managed to finish it, so one of the wings of the building is in ruins. The other wing is in perfect condition, and, except for the lack of water and electricity, is an ideal hangout. As we stand in front of the abandoned building, I pop open the hardy door, not by pushing it, but by picking the lock. When we get inside, I show loose the way to what was, until now, my secret hideout. Are there really all these couches in here? You'd think they would have gotten rid of the furniture. Alright. Oh my. So you weren't lying when you said that it was a great place. Aside from the dust, the door seems new. How is it possible that nobody has taken any of this stuff? They left in a hurry. Just like with the rest of the the urbanization plan, they probably ran out of money to collect everything. Or they thought they'd continue in the future and forgot about it. Who knows? Point is, this place is pretty far away and secluded, so nobody ever comes here. It's like my own personal hideout. Don't tell anyone, or that'll be the end of my luck, okay? And don't wander too far in here. The other wing isn't in the best condition, so it's dangerous. You already told me about that 1,000 times on the way here. Yeah, I'll be careful. But the rest is amazing. It could even be open in this state. There's already furniture and even some books over there. This wing of the building was open for a limited time before they abandoned it. Almost everything remained here, so that's a good thing for us, I guess. In any case, looks can be deceiving. There's no maintenance and most of the staff is broken somehow. So, it's not really safe. For that reason, I only used the library. But back to my point. I fulfilled my part. So, now, you don't have to draw in an uncomfortable playground in the middle of nowhere. Luce nods at everything I say, although her expression obviously expressed that she's thinking about something else as she circles around the table in the room. She stands still with her eyes fixated out the large window and begins talking to me. Tell me, you've seen my drawings. What do you think of them? My sincere opinion? Luce nods once again. You're good. Not the best I've seen, but I'm convinced that you've got something special. I'd like to ask you to never write anything in your life again, though. I see. The concepts are still interesting, though, especially considering how hard it is to draw fantasy without any references. I think you have talent, but need a bit more practice. I'm no expert, though. Seriously, you think I have talent? Luce sighs in relief and then shoots me a skeptical look. She turns around, making eye contact with me, wearing a new serious and intimidating demeanor. Nobody has ever told me that I have talent before. Not sincerely, at least. Yeah, some people tell me that I draw well. Others make comments about it. Truthfully, I've never fully committed myself to drawing. Doodling is the margins of notebooks isn't really drawing. The expectations between the two are completely different. And when you do try something real, something unique, it turns out not being any different from my sketch in the margin. How can you show that to anyone else when you can't even face the reality of it yourself? When you start tirelessly repeating, I only need to practice, but it doesn't matter how long you spend, the improvement is minimal. And 2 days after you meet someone who has never drawn anything in his life, you finally learn not to mistake compliments with real talent. How can I show you anything I've drawn to anyone? There's no way I can proudly talk about the work I've spent weeks creating. Then someone else could draw the same thing in several minutes. When can I say that I finally learned to draw? When things are finally being able to show off a masterpiece. The worst is how, even when you find an artist who's worse than you, it turns out that they just have their own style. Even if you don't understand the difference between the style and talent, you have to believe them anyway, because you're really a nobody. Your self-esteem gets crushed, because you don't have the privilege of doubt. And who says they're wrong? Did I do something to earn that privilege? Only kids would make an argument with a phrase as trivial as, I don't care what others say. Because you know what? They do matter. They matter so much because the only way to truly see ourselves is in the reflection given by us by others. You learn to intimidate, improve from criticism, and help others improve in return. From our taste to our maturity, everything depends on our relationship with others, and denying it because it's convenient is wrong. After all, I thought I was a good artist whenever someone would tell me they liked my meaningless doodles. Why would I turn a deaf ear to the truth during the hard times? It would be unfair of me. But there's nothing that can prepare you for the bitter taste that real justice leaves behind. Liz folds her arms, her eyes unsure whether they want to express pride or embarrassment for finally revealing her true feelings. But she pushes her feelings aside and resumes speaking in spite of my total astonishment, and in spite of the unexpected context of her speech. Now you know the reason why I don't like telling anyone about my little hobby. It's no more than that, it's just a pastime. I don't want to mention it because if someone tells me that I have talent, if someone encourages me to go for that next level, then I have to carry the weight of the consequences. Don't you think it's better for me to try to find the motivation, to try on my own, my true talent? Luce looks confused after her last rhetorical question. She shakes her head a bit, wishes out her sullen face for the usual smug smile I'm usually used to seeing. And now you've gone and dared me to tell me I have no talent. Look at what you've done, given me hope and everything. How am I supposed to react? Oh yeah, I have an idea. How about I read this aloud? Reaching into her pocket, Luce retrieves something. It's rectangular and small, like a notebook. An incredibly familiar notebook. Hey, my notebook! Did you steal that? Give it back. In the car. It fell when you gave your license to the officer. It basically fell on top of me and I couldn't resist looking at it, considering it's the infamous notebook Ziva mentions so often. Ooh, what's inside of it? Please, tell me. When you went to return the keys, I read through it a little, although I don't understand it at all. What is this? Some kind of fairy tale? I'm so embarrassed. I try to retrieve my notebook from Luce, but she turns her back to me and starts reading through it again. Reaching the Sun, Chapter 1, the right and the left. So foretold the tale that once upon a time... Wait, give it back to me. Yeah. No way, teasing you is too much fun. I finally managed to grab my notebook out of her hands. The first thing I do is check all the pages, making sure that nothing is amiss. It's not like I memorized each and every page, especially not when I have the habit of ripping out some of the pages. It's a bad habit I've developed, and at this point, I do it without thinking. I told you about my embarrassing secret. Now you tell me yours, it's only fair. I also say that I like what I read, but I didn't have time to finish it. Do you normally write stories in your free time or what? First, number 1, don't ever touch my stuff without my permission. Second, number 2, it's not like I'm dedicated to it. I don't even think about the stories I write. It's something I do because it happens. And that's what happens, and what happens next in Reaching the Sun? I don't know, I just started it. You don't know? Aren't you the author of it? I sigh. It's like Luce has to get away with everything she does, and now she's stringing me along with one place to another without giving me time to think. I have a bad feeling about all this, but I can see the eyes of the car thief shining with curiosity. She won't be letting me off the hook that easily. I'm not good at writing endings, you know. I have some ideas, yeah, but the more I progress through the story, the less control I have over it until it finally ends. Reaching the Sun is a really simple and short story that I wasn't even planning on writing, so I don't know how I'll continue it. Well, that's a pity. Don't leave things unfinished, man. Look, to tell you the truth, I was also about to give up on my drawing hobby not too long ago. You saw the garbage in the playground with your own eyes. I don't want to show the world something that I, myself, don't like. All those failed attempts. It's like I was saying before, about motivation. I've been thinking, and maybe I think I need someone around who will force me to keep working. Someone by my side that forces me to do it, even if I die from embarrassment along the way, and even if I realize that I'm not cut out to be a real artist. What can I say? That's the life of a YouTuber. I mean, I couldn't think of anyone who would help me in that way. You know how everyone is. They're playing the game until they can eventually toss everything aside. But now there's someone who knows my secret, and I can't do anything to hide it from him anymore. I don't like where you're going with this. Why not? The more you think about it, the harder it is to take the plunge. It's crazy, and we both know it. But it's going to happen, and you can't stop it. Don't make decisions without me. I'm not going to accept that. But you already did a while ago. I want you to continue writing your story. But from now on, it won't collect dust in your notebook. We can come here together from time to time and keep each other company while we work. You on your story, and me on my drawing skills. That way, maybe I can even use what you're writing as an inspiration for my illustrations. The things we're both embarrassed about can become something we share, a little secret. Didn't I say it before? Two people can truly become friends until they share a secret between them. Yeah, and you almost got killed too. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't believe we'll get very far with our plan. I was a total stranger not too long ago, wasn't I? A pervert even. So, what's with this sudden change of heart? It's either a hunch or insanity. Or maybe I'm just tired of usually monotony, and any excuse for change is good. And you just happen to be the first to offer that. You'll have to find a different nut to go along with your plan. Incorrect. You've already accepted. As long as you didn't lie to me earlier. John McLazy, this is my third requirement. From this moment onwards, I want us to meet up here regularly and to work together. Together we'll finish your fairy tale. Dramatic effect. You keep getting my name wrong on purpose to mess with me, alright? You can't get out of it, bud. You can't get out of it. Reaching the Sun. Chapter 1. Okay. We'll go through that next time. That was quite a nice one, actually. Quite a nice one. Goodbye. Goodbye. And next time, I'll tell you a story about a boy who wanted to reach the sun. Aren't you curious how it ends? Or how it starts? Come on. I'll be waiting.